Hi, I want to just give you a quick walkthrough of the course. I'm going to share my screen with you. And what we'll find is, if you come here to the course, it's, whenever you click on it in Canvas, from your dashboard or whatever, if we go to the dashboard, you will see the course, and then you click on it, and then you'll come into this. It just gives you some brief information. I was going to walk you through and point out some stuff for the course as we do it. To begin with, you'll show up here and it'll say course introduction, begin here. You just start with this first one that says start here. You click there, and let me click for student view just so you see it the same way I would. You start here. There's a video which I introduce the course. Then you're watching this video right here. You'll continue along as you do through all these videos. And you go to the course overview. Just gives you some brief information. You can click next, and it'll bring you to the syllabus. I would recommend you print out the syllabus. This will come up as a Word document. You should be able just to print it from here. And I would recommend you print it because it does have all the requirements for the course, as well as deadlines and dates as you go along and other things. And so that's going to be a pretty valuable thing to have right there. Now, if you scroll down to the bottom, actually this one doesn't have it. If you click syllabus over here in the margin, it'll bring up that same file. But if you go down below, it will also have all the deadlines and dates. So that's another good place to go if you just need the dates or deadlines really quickly. So if you go back to modules, you'll come in here, you'll have the schedule. The schedule is also something I would recommend you print. This is basically has the checklist for each module and all the information what to do in each one, and to print that out as well. That's another document that's very important. I would recommend before the semester starts, you print the syllabus and that. And then as you go along, there's a little video about myself, how to be successful, computer requirements, all that. And this is basically the first module. This is kind of a primer, something you should probably do right now while you're started. Take an hour to kind of familiarize yourself with the material in this course. Now, one thing I want to note when we get to each module, when you're done with it, if you come in here and if you click here in this part up at the top where it gives the title, if you click it, it will condense it. The nice thing is once you condense the module, every time you leave, if you leave the course, you go somewhere else, go back to the syllabus, and you come back here, it will open. Now, a lot of times they'll open temporarily, but it will, if you've condensed them, it will leave them condensed. So the idea here is I won't move these around. These will all sit here. But once you're done with them, if you click to close it, then you know, hey, I've done that, and you know to go down to the first thing you have open. So that'd be kind of a tip just to kind of, as you're working your way through the course. Now, the other thing you should do before you get into the material of the course is you should go to the summary papers. There's some instructions here. I'd recommend you print that out. It explains what the summary papers are, how you do them, things like that. There's also a Word file, so you can print that as well. It gives you kind of the instructions on how to do it. I'm not sure why there's a blank page there in it, but there is. Now, as far as the summary papers go, they're kind of a combination of summary / analysis. As you have in your book, you have two books, and one is a series of articles. It's an anthology of readings. And if you go into that book, you'll find that in it, if you look at the table of contents, there's a section that has, for example, Judith Jarvis Thompson's article on defensive abortion and Michael Huemer's America's Unjust War. Well, that's not correct. Those aren't, oh yeah, that's correct. So the idea there is you have a choice between reading about either America's Unjust War and doing a paper on it, or a defensive abortion. If you do a defensive abortion, then you need to do Don Marquis' Why Abortion is Immoral for your next one. And if you choose to do the Unjust Drug War, you have to do Against the Legalization of Drugs by Peter de Marneff in the second paper. And so the idea there is if you do one side, you have to do the other. Now, these are two separate papers. The first paper you're going to take and you're going to summarize it. The idea here is that logic and ethics is about learning to argue, being able to represent a position, an idea, an opinion. And so one of the first things you have to do is you have to be able to summarize somebody else's argument. The idea here is you don't actually learn, like if you're going to build something, the best way to build is to watch somebody build it, to follow the instructions and to do it a couple of times before you try to build it on your own. If you become like a master craftsman, chances are after a while, you could say, I want to build a desk, and you could just sit down and kind of sketch it out and do it yourself. But the first time you build a desk, you're probably going to buy a kit or instructions on how to build a desk. You're not going to go out and just build a desk from your own drawing without any knowledge or having experience building desks. Once you're a master craftsman, you could. Same thing, maybe like Legos. Like Legos, I was thinking about this when I was saying that, was like, if you want to build a house, a lot of times you buy a little kit and you build the house according to the instructions. After you get better at it and you know how it's done, you can do it on your own. And so the idea here is the first thing I want you to do is be able to take somebody else's argument and restate it, to take and follow their argument and then restate it in your own words what they said. That is kind of the first step to being able to, argue and reason. So that's what you do. The second part of the paper is an analysis section. The analysis is basically where you take and you say, okay, what did they do well? What did they do poorly in this article? Now, a lot of times people will say, they'll give their opinion. They'll say, I like this, or I didn't like that. That's fine. I'm okay with you giving me your opinion. I hope you will share your opinion and thoughts in this section. But it's not just about that. It's not about you just saying, okay, I just summarized this paper. Now I'm going to tell you my opinions on this topic, regardless of what they said. No, it should be focused on that article. What I want you to do is I want you to take and say, where did they fail? What did they do good? What did they do bad? Now, be careful. This isn't a movie review. This isn't a book review. This isn't a review of writing. This is a review of an argument. So the idea being you shouldn't sit there and say, well, I didn't like the way they used these examples. I didn't like the way they wrote. I thought they did this poorly or that poorly. That's really a critique of writing, and I'm not looking for a critique of writing. I'm looking for a critique of the argument. So if they give an argument such as in like Judith Jarvis Thompson's A Defense of Abortion, she gives an argument for, why is abortion immoral, in which she uses this violinist analogy. You might be able to say, hey, I don't think this is a good analogy because it fails to think about this situation or that. When the violinist is connected unwillingly, that's one thing, but abortion may not be considered on the same grounds as that. That would be a critique of the argument itself. You're basically saying, where does her argument fail in some way and how do we adjust for that? So that's what the critique is, and you'll give that at the end. Of course, I would like for you to give your opinion, but the thing is you need to start with a summary of the paper. The paper, not the topic. Don't give me what you think people think about the topic. Summarize the paper itself, and then give your critique of the argument, and then your own personal reaction. And that's basically all the paper is. They're not real long. They do not adhere to the module 2 week, schedule. The modules can be anywhere from like 1 week for the first one to 4 weeks for some of the longer ones. And these papers are kind of staggered. I tried not to put these on the same date as a module. There might be a couple that are. I tried to keep them sort of staggered. Now, if we go back up here to modules, the other thing you'll find is you have every 2 weeks, and then you have all the drop boxes. Now, because these don't follow the module schedule, when you come into one of these, if you click on the checklist, you'll find that, for example, sometimes there's stuff that's an early due date. This is a discussion. If something has a due date before the module, I've kind of indented it right below the checklist. And same thing here. And the idea being, you can click there to turn in. You can also click here to participate in the discussion boards. The discussion boards also don't adhere to the module schedule. Everything has due dates of Monday at 11:59 p.m., with the exception of Labor Day when you get an extra day, and with the exception of the final exam, which instead of making it due on Monday of finals, we made it due on Thursday. So I gave you a couple extra days. Those are the only exceptions. Everything else is due, whether it's a summary paper, analysis paper, a discussion board, or the modules. Everything's due on a Monday. Now, as far as the discussions go, the discussions I put links to them in each module when they're due. So if one's due during module 2, but the first week, it's in that module. If it's due during week 3, but it's in that module, it's in that module. Now, what you'll find here though is you can click discussions over in the left-hand side here, and you can find all the module, all the discussion boards right here at the beginning. There's an extra credit one that's 10 points. You introduce yourself, kind of a standard thing. That's in the first module. And then this at week 2, the sealing a house when it's due. Week 4, discuss contraceptives is due. Week 6, career and conscience. Week 8, I'm sorry, is every 2 weeks, those are due. They may bump up against the deadline for a paper. They may bump up against the deadline for a module, but they are all, they are every 2 weeks. Basically, you go in there, you read this sort of situation. There's a little video here. You read what's going on. There's some questions, and you have to write a response. Your initial response should be at least 300 words. You should try to answer the questions. You don't have to answer all of them, but give us a thorough, thoughtful response. After that, you need to respond to at least 2 of your classmates. Keep in mind, and I do believe I say this later on, and this is an important thing because people will complain about this if you know, because they don't watch the video, but at the, you know, you need to respond to at least 2 classmates. Now, writing a post that's 300 words, that's, you know, okay, and responding to 2 people is okay, but that's kind of what the average, that's what you're expected to do. And that's kind of the minimum expectations, and minimum expectations will earn you a C. In order to get an A on the discussion board, you need to give a very thoughtful first post. You need to respond to, I'd say, at least 4 people. You need to show that you've come back a couple of times to see if anybody's responded to yours. So I should see comments that aren't all on the same date, all on the same day. And if you do all that, you can get an A. But if you just go in there, make a post, reply to 2 people real quick, all on the same day, you're going to get at least a C at best, because that is average work. It's not A work. And so keep that in mind. Now, come back into the modules. If you're in the modules and you're doing them, there's usually, in each one, I'll have the checklist. It'll give you, if you printed out the calendar I told you to earlier, you'll have this. This is this document. It'll give you these checklists. It's exactly what this is. It tells you everything that's going to be due, everything you should review, etc. So for example, the first module, it says complete the getting started material, which is that module where this video is located. You watch the introduction to mod 1, read the syllabus, explore the course, review the summary paper instructions, participate in the icebreaker for extra credit, complete the lesson on what is philosophy, read the book, and then take the exam. And so that lists everything you have to do, and you can kind of just print that out and click them off as you do them. Now, here I give a little introductory video where I try to talk about what the topic is in there, and you can watch that there. Did not mean to hit that. And then you go through, you have an exam. The exam, when you click it, will tell you how many minutes you have, how many questions. And once you start it, you've started it. You cannot retake it after, you know, you can't stop in the middle and stop the clock. The clock starts, the clock starts. Okay, you can't stop the clock. So once you start it, you have 45 minutes to complete it. There's a lesson, what is philosophy? You go there, and it should open up there in a tab, but you can also open it and you'll have a series of like little videos and discussion. This is a little, I probably need to update it, but that's there, okay? And you can also do it inside there and go through the lesson and then take the quiz at the end. In other matters, you know, there's 7 or 8 modules. They're all in here. You go through all the material. You can work ahead if you want. Everything's open, but that's the way it works. Last thing last, if you ever want to see your grade, click grade. In this case, it'll bring up my grade book, or in your case, it'll bring up your grades. So I'll give you everything that's due and when, and then you enter in a grade. So I think that's about it. I don't really have anything else to add. If you have any questions, don't be afraid to ask me. Hope everything goes well. As always, the best thing to do if you're confused or you have anything is to reach out to me. I usually am available during my office hours. I'm definitely available. Come by, email, text, whatever during that time, I should respond. But I'm usually available other times. So if you have questions or concerns, you can always call, email, text outside those hours. I'm usually around and available, you know, with the exception of in the evenings, weekends, I sometimes don't respond real quickly, but, you know, just reach out. You have a question, I will try to respond as quickly as possible. Take care.